Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on our YouTube channel every Friday. But with no other announcements, we'll go ahead and start the show. So ticket takers, after traversing through the many chambers of the restricted section of the library and reshelving books, reading books, discovering truths about the potential worlds and futures of reality, encountering a evocation wizard who wanted to bomb you all off the face of somebody's nest, you restored the continuity of a beloved romantic classic novel, and then you found the exit from the library to the Temple of Tsuvinar. You pass through, and while leaving through the exit, you pass through the bubble that was surrounding the city of Azalor, and the disparate kind of parallel universes that you had been occupying your bodies and minds coalesced back into one plane of existence, and you find yourself outside of that bubble. The city of Azalor below you, a little bit to your left, and then further away, maybe like a half a mile or so, the distant on the seafloor Temple of Tsuvinar, with odd structures around it. You are deep in the cold, dark ocean. Thankfully, all of you have the ability to breathe and swim underwater right now, thanks to Cloaks of the Manta Ray, god weapons, other items, being an otter. And so... that old chestnut. So ticket takers, here floating in the dark abyss, what would you all like to do?
Make our way towards the dragon's lair, right?
I'm gonna turn
Looking out for
real quick and be like, so some of us look a little bit beat up, and I was wondering if maybe we should take like a rest or something. Like,
I have the healing knife that will allow us 12, right? 12? Yeah, 12 healing words, I think I put in there, whatever it was.
I think we should get someplace dry where we can blockade a door.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering if that could be our next step.
Oh, yes, unless people are low on spell slots and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, that way we can also see the situation, and if like things are on fire and people are screaming, we can run in, and if it seems calm and cool, we can...
Underwater?
This is us.
There are spells that will allow flames.
That's fair. I'm gonna give you that.
Look at us. All right. So whoever would like to helm a perception check of the area around you, you can go ahead and roll. And if someone would like to assist them, they can do that with advantage.
I'll do that.
I have perception of 11.
Oh, I'll help.
Oh my God.
Here I was thinking about +9 was good.
Source, your eyesight's
14
so
plus 11, so 25.
25. So Source, I mean, it's very dark here in the abyssal region. There's no sunlight that descends this far, but using your superior dark vision, you are kind of scanning the area, and you are about... maybe 75, 80 feet above the sea floor. And you can see that where Azalor is built, it is built up on kind of a rise of more rocky crust area. And there are a few cave entrances within that space that you think that you could probably find a location there where you might be able to rest.
I pointed out to the group.
What cave?
All right.
Can I go?
Of course, the last time we went into a cave.
Yeah, I was gonna go investigate the cave real quick and see if there's any I don't know. Like,
what are the odds of
you
a
touch
second
rock
false
and
hydra?
The whole thing falls apart on you.
Okay.
Kind of situation.
So you kind of swim down to the cave entrance. Mar, go ahead and make a perception check with advantage because you'll be using your
Did you say
blood
Margot?
senses. I said Mar.
Oh, you said Margot. I'm sorry, guys.
No.
Margot.
Oh no.
Barbie
Best character
senses.
from The Magician.
I'm still here.
Oh, hold on. That rearranged
Oh,
the windows.
magicians!
You didn't lock down, did you?
I forgot to lock the windows.
No.
No.
Sorry, I thought you had.
No, that's
You
my
fool.
own. That's my own fault. Okay.
Looks like you do.
While
We're all doomed.
while you are making that roll, I need to go.
I got a 20. Though,
20.
just
Okay,
so
cool.
everyone knows.
Where-
But, like a nat 20, so it's actually a 26. So.
Okay. Follow hoist. Okay. Hoists. Follow.
So I did
hoist.
find the hidden treasure that was in this game.
All right. So you are kind of swim down to the entrance to one of these caves, and you're using your senses, sight, but mostly smell, to try to sense anything. And you don't pick up on any like living organisms or blood or anything like that that's in the water in this space. And as you're listening, you don't hear anything like moving within the cave.
Okay, then I'll lead the way in.
Okay, so you swim in for a little bit, and the cave entrance kind of dives deeper into the rock for about 20 or 30 feet, and then has a sudden upturn. And then when you come up, you find yourself in an air bubble space that has kind of a ledge where you could, lay out for a rest. There are remnants of other creatures maybe having lived here in the past. There's like some like crumbled up cloth or bedroll type material. There's the remnants of what maybe looked like a fire, long disused.
Okay.
But you guys have a space here where you could potentially take a long rest.
Yeah, Abel, can Anansi watch out for us while we're sleeping so we can rest?
You muted.
You are
We should be
muted.
able to do a rotating,
Oh, we can rotate it. Yeah, I forgot.
watch.
Been a while since
Yes.
we've rested.
Nancy can watch out as well. She post up near the entrance of the cave and make sure nothing approaches.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
All right. So you send Anansi out to the front area, like back in the water.
Yes. Right near the cave entrance.
All right. Go ahead and make a perception check for Anansi for the evening. Or I guess what time of day it is. Yeah, let's say evening.
Excuse me. He a 7.
A 7. Okay.
Oh,
Lots
he's
of
not
time
used to
underwater.
it. He's
And,
not used to
He's
it.
like in the water, like I'm trying to like find a location. Okay. So if you want to set up a rotation of watch, that is perfectly okay. You would need at least 4 people to do watch over the course of the evening for you all to get a long rest. So any conversation you want to have before that takes place, but you'll have to have watch.
Caesar.
I'll go first.
Okay. So go ahead and make a perception roll, Kaimana, as everyone else is bedding down for a sleep.
29.
29.
Wow.
Okay. So as your ticket taker friends lay down, make space as comfortable as possible here in this kind of rocky, slightly damp interior. But you are keeping an eye out, and you just come on. You spend a couple hours just listening as there's like the slight drip of water. the smell of the briny ocean, but nothing passes or enters into this space while you are on your watch.
Kaimana's loving it though.
Yeah, he's in his element.
Yeah.
This is great.
Actually, Adante's roll was an 11. He has a +4 to
Oh, okay,
perception.
11. All right, cool. All right. Who does Kaimana wake up for the second watch?
I'll take second.
Source. Yeah.
All right, so Soris, go ahead and make a perception check for the second watch.
And rolled a 7, so that's an 18.
An 18. So as the
I love
night
expertise.
So as the night continues to progress, Kaimana, you bed down for your sleep, and Soris, you're kind of listening out and watching, and there's just like this cold dampness around you. There are a couple times where you sense movement, and you kind of maybe stand up to like look at what's approaching, and maybe a random fish like swims into the cave entrance. But you guys didn't make any lights or anything, so it quickly swims away, looking for food elsewhere. But your watch goes by without a hitch.
Jordan.
All
Me?
right.
Okay.
Jury. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Not that I have great perception. I rolled a 7, so Nancy rolled better than me.
Okay. So, Jury,
You're like bleary-eyed.
like bleary-eyed, wake up in this cold, dark, damp space. And you just sit and just stare at the water for 2
I
hours.
also don't have dark vision, so I'm just...
You don't know what you're
no.
looking at?
Oh,
I mean, right, I don't have dark vision. I have dancing
Jury's
lights, but I
squinting
don't
into the
have...
darkness.
I'm a
Yep.
half-orc.
Let me roll a luck check here. Okay.
Literally just staring at the darkness of the cave.
All right. Yep.
Let Abel know I can make you something to help with that.
Yeah. Lord. Also, just for you all know, I'm adopting Brennan Lee Mulligan's new strategy of luck checks on situations like this. Of like,
fun.
is something bad going to happen for you? So you're while Jury, you can't see anything. You are relying on your hearing, and as the night goes, there are many times where you just like hear like a weird sound in the dark, and like maybe you stand up to try to investigate, but you don't.
I like dancing lights, nothing there, turn them off. Dancing lights, nothing there, turn them off.
Yeah. And
Jerry, I can't sleep.
there's one time when you do the dancing lights and there's just like a swarm of like underwater like shrimp just like in the pool, like attracted by this on and off light switch.
I'll save that for Kaimana for later.
But your watch goes by without a hitch. So who are going to wake up for the final watch?
I'll wake up Abel.
Okay, Abel.
What?
Mar went through a lot in the last bit. The champion of Tsuvinar. And wake the champion of Tsuvinar.
All right, Abel. So for the final watch, go ahead and roll a perception check for us.
No.
It's funny that you're
I
rolling.
have a pretty bad perception with a +2. So, okay, 17.
17. So as the final watch goes, Abel, let's see. Nope. You have like it's a quiet, alone space. There's a couple times where Anansi kind of alerts you to the passage of like a very large shadow, and then it's like maybe that was a whale, we hope, outside. But other than that, like nothing, and nothing comes into the cave entrance, and that 2-hour time period passes without any incident.
And this will be the time where I will make my updates to my equipment.
Yeah.
To justify my level up.
Nice.
Perfect.
And
Yep,
not to do the back in my day, but back in my day in 1E, AD&D, you would do wandering monster checks every time you did a rest.
Yeah, and
So
that's
this is like, oh cool. I know I get this reference.
yeah, that's kind of the luck check that Brennan uses is like, oh, is something bad going to happen here? All right, so you had so all of you achieve a long rest. You can go and mark the long rest, retrieve your spent hit dice, although it's not all of your hit dice. Let's see, where I can't remember. Is it half your hit dice after a long rest?
Up to 6.
Up to 6 hit dice. And then, so if you spent more than 6, then you only get 6 back. And then you have your spell slots and your hit points are back to full. But you all wake up. It's weird because there's no sunlight or anything here, so you're just kind of waking up into a dark space, a cold, wet, dark space. But you are all awake.
Oh, I do have regular dark vision. Okay.
Oh,
Just
then you're
60
fine. Yeah.
feet. Nice. I was just.
We're just really tired, so you were just.
I actually am upset because I still miss as long. I miss being in the dream.
Oh.
Yeah, as we wake up and we're chilling with each other, I'm going to tell everyone that I took the sleep spell. So I don't know if that might be useful to us in our waking, dreaming kind of garbage stuff we're messing around with. But I took it just in case we maybe needed to try to put one of us to sleep pretty easily or something. I thought it might be useful.
Clever. Very clever.
Yeah. I don't know how that'll work in the grand scheme of things, but I figure I might as well take it.
I have a few concentration spells. I actually...
All right, Mar, I'm going to give you Gift of Alacrity again, too. So you get the extra D8 as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Am I awake? I'm giving Mar the Gift of Alacrity.
Oh. Yeah, so... Oh, crap, I don't know what I'm going to do.
When you do that, you see that Mar's, like, a little, like, jittery, maybe? Like, they've got a little, like, just, like, a little too much, like, energy going on right now.
You okay?
I'm fine.
You're like tapping your foot a lot.
Oh, it's just
Mark,
like
you can talk about your
call
feelings.
me last night, and I just think that
about the watches.
Well, when I go to sleep, like sometimes he'll check in, and I'm a little worried that when I did the wish on the Godstones, that maybe something went wrong, and that's why he didn't call me. Because something's wrong. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Lead away, and let's go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's get a move on.
And we're following your lead, Bar.
Hate that. Thanks, gang. Awesome.
Sorry, I mean, champion of Tsuvinar.
Stop. Hate that.
Making his champion, all that.
Chill. Immediately chill.
You elbow me in the ribs.
All right. So as you all make your exit out of this cave entrance, there's a couple ways you can approach this, Mar. You could just swim straight across the ocean. And the floor of the ocean does kind of descend further down to the trench that the temple sits astride. And so you could just kind of swim out straight and then down to it. You could follow the curvature of the ocean floor. One of those would provide you with a little more potential for hiding spaces like random boulders or rocks or things at the bottom. One will be faster. So it's kind of your choice of just kind of doing a straight shot.
I'd like to take the ocean floor.
Okay, so you're going to take the ocean floor. So you kind of go out and you're swimming along the ocean floor, and there's here it's kind of the silty detritus of whatever has drifted down from the upper reaches of the ocean, and it just created this silty layer at the bottom of the ocean. Every now and then you do see fish of various different types. Odd kind of crustaceans and things that are making their ways on the ocean floor, but you don't come across anything of note. If you're leading the pack, if somebody else wants to roll perception, or Marlo can roll perception from the front.
It's so crazy. The Saurus is up front right here, and I'm helping him.
I just think it's funny that the one-eyed rat
has high perception.
It's real focused.
He's the death shot.
Yeah, and he's creature of darkness. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also he's used to rat vision, and now he has big rat vision, and so he's like, wow, I can see everything. Like when a kid gets glasses and they're like, oh my god.
Man, I'm glad we had advantage because one of the rolls was a natural 1.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
The other was a 12, so that's a 23.
23. Okay, so as you are kind of swimming down, cutting in and out between cutting out between boulders and hunks of stone, or just up thrusts of crust nature here from the kind of the central rifting nature of the continental plates here. You are cutting through source. So you don't notice anything too out of the ordinary for the first probably half hour of your journey. Swimming is fast, but it's not, like you're covering a long distance here. But there are some weird fish, like that you see, like odd, kind of shark-shaped fish with very odd jaws. You see these large fish with massive spiky teeth and like dangling lights on them to attract smaller prey, but nothing of note until you start getting closer to the reaches of the temple. And this is when the structures that are outside the temple, which were kind of just silhouetted at the back of from the light from the temple itself, you start to see these. And these are ramshackle smattering of buildings that seem to have been pieced together. Difficult to tell time period or space or how long they've been here. But they kind of rise up around the temple structure, and a few of them definitely have the appearance of being something akin to watchtowers. So you're approaching this outer reach of kind of the boundary that whatever the Seafoam Empress has built here. You're starting to get to that area.
Are all these buildings interconnected so we can assume there's air inside, or are they isolated pools?
So the watchtowers that you're seeing right now are kind of isolated, but you can see further on that some of these buildings seem to be interconnected, like further deeper in. There's no wall structure here because that's stupid in an ocean setting, because you can just swim over it. But some of the buildings seem to be interconnected, but these watchtowers you're seeing, like they're kind of sporadically set up around the vicinity to provide sight lines, and they're not connected to any of the other structures.
Okay, I take us low to the floor bed and start stealth swimming.
Okay, if everybody would like to go ahead and roll stealth checks.
Beautiful.
I will throw up pass without a trace.
Okay, you can do stealth and add a 10 to your stealth roll.
Beautiful.
Oh, I rolled horribly.
Mars like, I rolled horribly. I got a 27.
I rolled
Not quite. I
rolled a 6, so it's 25.
Get it right next time.
I rolled a 6, so it's a 25.
I rolled a
3,
4, so it's a 28.
28.
Yep.
So you have a 13, Abel.
I have a 13, yes.
Okay, Jury.
I got 19 with it.
Kaimana.
You're muted,
muted.
baby.
I got 33.
33.
He's in his element.
There you go. Oh God, what was that? Well, that's back to fucking guard rolls. That was a natural one. Thanks so much, guards.
Let's go, guards.
Lord.
Guards love us. We hate them.
The guards
I'm
in
just
the
picturing-
fictional world were so much better.
I'm just picturing the guards from Monty Python's Holy Grail when Lancelot is charging up the hill and they're just sitting there. Just
Yeah. Lord. All right. So you swim around the first kind of the outer region of the first watchtower and use sight lines to block yourself from this one. If anybody wants to make a perception check for the watchtower as you swim close enough to it to kind of see if there's anybody in there watching or listening.
I'll look.
All right, go ahead, Carmano.
24.
24. So as you guys are swimming past, and Kamina, you kind of look up, and there is, like, from the front side of the watchtower, they had built the structure so that any light bleed was kind of blocked out from the front side. But as you swim around to the back, you can kind of see that parts of the back of the watchtower are open. So this watchtower is filled with water. But you do see at the very top, like a lantern or something, and just briefly the silhouette of some kind of figure moving in front of that lantern as they're kind of walking around the outer parts of the watchtower. Difficult to tell who or what they are as you're going, but these watchtowers do seem to be manned. But you guys keep swimming through, and you make your way to the second watchtower. And that's a 3. This dice is not going to be used the rest of the evening. And so you guys swim kind of around this one as well. There's an arch that goes over a span, and you swim down into a brief tunnel that passes beneath the watchtower, and then you pop up onto the other side, and you're at the back side of this watchtower. There's one more between you and the predominant structures further on, and you get approach to it. There we go. So as you are swimming around the third one, there's a moment, Abel, where you're swimming and something catches, whether you swim too close to a rock and something in your outfit kind of catches or something, and a tool falls off of your belt, and it hits down on, floats slowly, hits down onto a rock, and then slides out into space, and then hits into the dirt, and there's this a cloud of dirt that rises, or silt that rises up from where this was, but it is a noticeable kind of something rising into space. You also lost a tool if you want to go retrieve it, but there is now a very noticeable, something was here and something disturbed this space.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have illusion?
I don't think so.
I might have some.
I'm not that kind of board, but let me see. I can't remember what I've been taking. I
But
only
I do have a
minor.
distraction. It's not a good distraction, but I say this in character. I do have a distraction. It's not a good distraction. It will confuse them, but it will confuse them.
I only have minor illusion. That's not going to help. So.
Excellent. Okay, I take out my squirrel, who just, in terms of the game, he is protected. He can breathe
he's
underwater
fine. Yeah.
because he's with me, and the sword
Magic.
knows
Yes.
that I would die without him. So I send him forward to be the distraction.
Okay. So you all kind of find hiding spots, and Thistle swims out into space.
Yeah, he's good at distracting guards. He did it one time.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. He's just a little confused because he's underwater.
Yeah. So as he kind of swims out, his little tail, now not bushy, but just like this trailing mass of fur, and he isn't a swimming creature, but is doing his best. And he kind of gets out to a space. You all hide a little bit. And it's then that you see a creature kind of dart, swimming very quickly up behind one of the rocks and up over the rock, and is looking down at Thistle. And you see a kind of fish-like creature, fins on the side of the face, kind of but a smushed, more humanoid type face, but large fangs, sallow greenish skin, holding a spear that seems to be made of some kind of bone, or like whale bone or something like that.
Can I roll an insight check to see if he wants to eat my squirrel?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Because it's going down if that's the case.
Oh, I mean, it's on site if that's the case. That's a 23.
So what you get is that the sense of that is just investigating. The thing is not trying to eat your squirrel.
Good.
But it is very what the fuck? And so it kind of swims up and over. And then from where it had came from behind this kind of rock space, another creature swims up onto the other side, and this is a tall, regal-looking female water triton with. She doesn't have any kind of weaponry, but you can tell that. I mean, she's very kind of ornately dressed in this skin-tight leotard-type look, and then a kind of what would be mage robes that would work underwater type of appearance. And she kind of releases a spell, and you see lights swarm out from her hand and just kind of circle around Thistle. And then she kind of comes down. Why the fuck would there be a squirrel underwater here? Go tell the others I think it's a false alarm, but keep an eye out. And then she's beginning to scan the area around.
Can I I don't know how much I can control Thistle because he is a squirrel and simply not
Not a familiar, but yeah.
But like, he's a charming little guy. Could he like, you know, like
Look at
start
me.
doing start doing his little backflips?
That's Lil Saurus.
Like, could he start doing his little backflips and like, you know, being really cute?
Okay. So let's see. Can Saurus? So you see Saurus like start. Well, not Lil Saurus. I'm Soul Thistle. Start to try to like do a backflip, but he does that thing that like when you're a kid in the pool, like I can do a backflip, and you like get halfway through the swimming of the backflip, and then you're like, oh shit, I can't. He's like struggling to go full around, and this like this Triton kind of swims up next to him, and she just like grabs the back of his paw and like flips him back around upwards. I don't think you're alone down here, are you? You all can come out if you're within earshot.
I look at the group.
Are we swinging?
They have my squirrel, so I will not swing on them while they're in the vicinity of my squirrel.
Kaimana peeks.
Okay. So Kaimana, you peek out, and she, who had rolled fairly well on her perception, the moment you kind of peek out and break your hide, she kind of looks out. The Trinians don't often keep company with squirrels. Are you alone?
They'll look back at the group. They'll look back and go, maybe.
I just push Kaimana's head down out of the way and then just come out and drag him along behind me.
Okay. The moment you all,
I guess I have the leash now. Maybe I don't think he needs to be on the leash in the library. I'm gonna be fair.
Yeah.
In the water, I don't think.
In the water, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to stay hidden while the other ones go out.
Okay, so your stealth roll still holds. Okay, Saurus and Jerry's stealth roll.
Josh, my swords are so in the veil, in the ether right now.
Okay,
my
sure.
swords are not out to play.
Yeah, that's fine. So does Abel pop out too? Ronnie?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Cool. So Kaimana, Abel, Marlowe, you pop out. And this figure kind of she's there for a moment and she waves her hand and a staff appears in her hand from nowhere. And she kind of holds it for a second. Well, this is odd, strange. Where have you come from?
The library.
She kind of taps the staff down onto the stone and you see this like energy kind of go out like a sonar wave through the ocean. And then from like 7 or 8 different locations around this spot, you see these figures kind of swimming up out of spaces. And it's a mixture of, there's a few water genasi, there's a couple more tritons, but most of the figures here appear to be those fish-like creatures who Kaimana you recognize as Sahagan. And they kind of pop up there. From the light.
25, Josh.
25. You are.
It's just us. It's just our group. It's no one from the Kinkathurge or Azalor permanence.
Are you one of their nightmares then?
Pardon?
Ever since they went to sleep, they've been sending out weird nightmares to harass.
Oh, no. We're not a nightmare. We are aware of the dream thing. We did figure that one out, but we're just people.
What brings you here, and why are you approaching the Seafoam Empress's layers?
Josh, can I roll an insight check to see if I am currently talking to the Seafoam Empress?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I worry. That is a 27.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I'm gonna play cool. I'm gonna act normal. I have reason to believe that the dragon might be in danger.
And what might give you that impression? We've been guarding the temple for about 100 years to make sure that he's safe.
Josh, I hate to keep doing this.
Insight check.
I got it. Insight check
Go
that
ahead.
one.
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
I'm sorry.
This is what Mar does. And
It's
she's
true.
good at it.
That
That's
is-
a 22.
22. As far as you can tell,
Ugh.
truthful.
Okay. I don't know how aware you are of the world as it is outside of Azalor right now, but it is not great. And there is another dragon that is also a very powerful archmage who wants to probably use Naginda for a very dark spell. For Divine Rebus. I don't know if that means anything to you, but I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
With advantage, because
I told the truth.
you use the truth. Mhm.
I was a good little truth teller. That's a 16, which is great for me.
Yeah.
So.
So she kind of like holds up the staff for a second and releases it, and it like flies up into the air, and then you just see like this pulse of energy fly out, and suddenly all of the buildings around you light up. And you can see that there are many more structures here than you could eventually originally see, just because of the silhouettes of lights and things like that. I think perhaps that we should talk.
Okay.
Would you care to join me in my domain?
That would be great. Thank you. I'm Marlo. I'm Ma.
I'm gonna earbug Mar while she's talking and just be like, do you want us to stay or tail you?
Mar just sends back a ton of question marks because I'm not sure. and then I go ask Abel.
I'm like, Abel, should we stay hidden or tail? I think Source will tail and I'll come with.
I like that idea, yes.
Okay, I'll tell Source to tail us the best he can by himself, and I'll go in.
Yes.
Okay.
If we need
That's
And
cool.
I'm going to introduce. I'm Ma. This is Kaimana. This is Abel, and that is Jury.
I'm swimming up. Hello, I was sorry. I'm really shy, and I got scared, and now I'm here.
It's just the four of you then.
Yes.
Roll a deception check.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that is beautiful. I got 27.
Okay. So she says, pleasure to meet all of you. I'm Seraphina. They've taken to calling me the Seafoam Empress, but I call this lands more the Seafoam Empress. We have much to discuss, I believe. And so she kind of swims forward, and the train of guards and soldiers kind of fall in behind each of you, kind of keeping a respectable distance and not being threatening in any way. But she swims down through.
I pick up Thistle and I whisper that he's done a very good job today, and then I put him back in my pocket.
he like nuzzles down into your pocket.
Yeah.
And then she guides you down to what appears to be kind of like a thoroughfare that makes its way through the center of many of these structures. None of them like palatial or like a, like there's not a palace or a castle or anything here. All of the structures here seem to just be like living arrangements or things that are not shoddily constructed, but maybe hastily constructed. And she eventually leads you to a larger building, but still not ornate or beautiful in design. And she swims inside and kind of settles down in an entryway, and kind of motions for each of you to come in to join her in this entry space.
Josh, I will have used my hat of disguise to transfer to look like one of the Sahagin guards.
Okay.
And as they fall in behind her, I fall in
Oh,
Beautiful.
I like that.
Like the very
Also,
bad.
let the record show I rolled good deception against an NPC when
You
it was
did,
important.
yeah.
I
Let's go,
acknowledge
Jerry.
it. I
Let's go.
recognize.
Yes.
We are proud of you.
All right.
Finally.
So all of you kind
This is your
of
city, baby.
you all get into this entry space, and she kind of looks at you. Would you prefer a dry environment, or is the water fine?
I like both.
I look over the jury and Abel.
Dry is good for me, but I can accommodate.
Okay. So once everybody kind of gets into this space, she like hits her staff down, and you see runes activate on the floor, and they shoot out, and the door that you entered into closes, and then there's a moment where the water level just begins to sink out of this space. And then once it's gone, the door on the interior opens, and you see yourself in a recently flooded but now dried kind of meeting hall room. There's no clear like throne or opulence in this space. It's just there's many chairs, many tables, and a space for many people to sit. But there's water dripping from the ceiling from where it has been freshly flooded of water, and she kind of enters in. She throws her hand to the side, and her staff just kind of curls through the air and then hits a wall and just hangs there. And then she takes off the outer garment that she was wearing, and then she prestidigitates the water away from herself. And then as she's doing that, her whole outfit kind of shifts and changes, and she's wearing vaguely militaristic garb. Looks very similar to the way Lunaria Mistweaver's like I'm about to go to war mage outfit looks. This very sapphire in color instead of violet, and her hair falls down around, and you can see it's this bluish green color but streaked with whites and grays. And now that you're seeing her in light as she lights torches all around the space, she's not young. She appears to be probably the opposite side of middle age for herself, and she's kind of motions for all of you to enter in. Well,
What race is she?
She's a trait.
Okay.
Although it seems that she has like she might be Triton sea elf mix. She has pointed ears, which most Tritons don't. So that might she has maybe a potentially longer lifespan because of that.
And Josh, did the guards come in with her, or did we disperse around the outside?
Nope, the guards entered into the room as well, and they kind of are splayed out along the outer wall. And kind of taking up posts there. And then she kind of walks up to one of the tables and kind of gestures, if you'd all like to pull up a seat here.
Are there any cushions around? Or
Are there any cushion? No, I think the chairs are. Are you uncomfortable?
I think I need like a booster seat or something.
I like put Carmona in my lap and we sit down.
All right. She says, so I apologize if I came across as anywhat aggressive to your appearance. To hear that you have come from Azalor, the only thing that has come out of there in the last 50 years has been quite dangerous.
Leave that.
So why are you here beyond you want to check in on a sleeping dragon?
I mean, that's kind of it, really. Just
Why are you guarding the dragon?
Someone had to.
From what?
You asked me if I was aware of what was happening on the world outside. Keenly. The reason why... Oh, I'm sorry.
Everyone else here is so shut off. How do you know?
That's why I'm out here. The Kinkethurge, even though you swim 30 miles through the ocean that way, and there's a wall of veil that cuts down from the tops of the sky to the ocean floor, they think that it's not a danger, that it's something that they can study their way out of. And I do not believe that that is the case. I think that there is a dark storm rising, and that it will take people fighting back to protect us, to protect our families and our homes. And instead of using the power and might and the knowledge that we possess to do that, the Kinkithird locked themselves away and then put themselves to sleep.
So they did that. The Kinkithird made the dream spell.
Oh, from what I can tell, you mentioned the Divine Rebus. We had a few spies within Azalor who were able to sneak out information. One was working within the Thaumaturge, and they were developing some kind of divine entity of some kind. This was about 50 years ago, and we lost contact with them. Shortly after, we sent in some others to kind of check on what was happening, and they never returned as well. And that's when we realized that there was a bubble around the city that was putting anyone to sleep who was approaching. And since then, there have been odd creatures swimming through the waters, terrifying in some respects.
Monsters.
We did not run across any monsters while we were in the dream world or on our trip here.
We did in Barktown.
Would that have been one of the monsters?
Pretty implied that.
I believe that the Namayane Ula told Kaimana that it had come from the depths of Azalor.
Mm-hmm. I think you shared that with us.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe able to take the keen mind feat.
Keen mind is one of the best feats in the entire game. So I love
It
it.
is, but I can't put my intelligence any higher.
But yeah, I would express that we had seen the one in Barktown.
But you all say that you were just in Azalor. Are things there different now?
There's like a weird dream thing going on.
How did you manage to escape?
It's a long story, but it involved like a romance novel and
No, well,
Oh, wow.
Yes, but no. But
we kind of caught on to the dream spell and managed to wake ourselves up out of it. But to get through to here, we had to get through the library.
So
We
then,
went back in.
so they're not all lost there.
Mm-mm.
I had worried that my former trainer was gone, and family and friends.
it seems the spell that put them to sleep is still sustaining them magically.
Mhm.
So it's different than a normal sleep spell.
But a shared dream.
Yeah, very much so.
That would explain the nightmares. Something quite powerful when you put that many minds together to dream up the horrors of the deep.
They're manifesting those things from the dreams into...
There's some... I feel part of that might be the Sapphire Sanctum was working on some construct building before there was a disagreement between the Sanctum and the Kinkithird as a whole. And the first few years of the nightmare, some of those constructs were coming out of the city, not ones that we created, which is how we kind of determined that it must have been dreamt up in some way. They were recreating something that we had done. But then over time, those monsters grew in terror and ferocity. Most recently, we dealt with a shark that could shape change, appear like a human, charm you and convince you that you were safe until you were alone, and then it would try to make a feast.
Land shark.
Land shark.
Candy grab.
Well, I was going to say new
Thank you,
fear,
Atwood.
new fear unlocked.
Oh my god! Now every time someone's like, "Hey, can I talk to you over here?" I'm gonna be like,
Land
is
shark.
now is this a shark trying to eat me?
Oh, did Arian's with us, right? She came?
Yeah, Arian's with you.
I forgot. Okay, I was just, for numbers' sake, Arian is
Yeah.
also
And
here.
Babs in my book.
So I'm going to assume that Arian hung back with Saurus, probably.
Yeah, I don't think she maybe want to come in. I don't know what her
Mhm.
deal is with that, but okay.
Didn't we leave her behind?
No,
She
Because
came through
Babs
the
is
portal
in
with
my
you.
book now,
we left her behind.
so we didn't have
initially.
anywhere to leave her.
Yeah. So like at some point, that's a good reminder. Thank you. Arian exists.
Yeah, I was
she
just for
is
numbers.
here.
I was like, wait a minute, Arian is
Arian
also
is
with us.
here. She exists. All right, cool. I need to put like an NPC reminder in the corner of my
Yes,
screen.
who is
like,
currently who we've adopted with us.
NPCs.
Okay, it only took me like a couple of months to remember that I had winged boots. So.
Yeah.
You're good.
Now, all of this story is clashing with what you heard about
Yes.
the Seafoam Empress. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
hmm But, I mean, you had that first insight roll in which she seemed to be truthful in what she was saying.
I know.
I know there's this awkward tension where I'm kind of like waiting for like what Mar is feeling about it, because I think Mar told us all kind of the same. We know why we came here, so we're like.
Can I have done an insight check into all of this from?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Make an
Or
insight check
observing.
source. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Oh no, nope, not a clue.
Can I make
That's 11.
It's difficult
like
to tell.
my fucking 5th insight check against this woman to like on that last bit about like the history with the Kinkathurge and like to make sure that like she's not twisting it to be like, you know, actually I was the villain the whole time. I don't think she is, but I want to make sure. That's cocked. That is a 21.
No, so the part, I mean, like a lot of the way she's telling the story is very much like this is just the natural history of what occurred. Where you get the most emotion is when she was talking about how the people of Azalor wanted to sit back while there were real dangers occurring in the world. And that like that's the part where her passions were the strongest. And it's like if there was any element of like emotional tinging to what she's saying, it's all around that part. But you get the sense that she is being as honest, at least from her perspective of events.
Do
Just
you
hoping she doesn't Lando Calrissian us.
do you think the dragon will ever wake up?
Imagine if all of the fears and dangers of the world could be assuaged by the arrival of the Empyreans. Something to wish for. But they've been asleep for quite a while.
Right. Tell your gods to not come at me when I do this, and I'm going to summon the sword.
Okay.
I'm going to stand up and summon the sword, and
Okay.
then like
So-
wait for the guards to inevitably kind of come at me.
She holds up a hand, but it's not even like, it's not to stop the guards from attacking you. Because the moment the sword appears and there's a burst of that watery spray across the room, every single Sahagwin in the room drops to a knee.
Oh, no.
So cool.
No. Mar
I follow.
immediately like puts the sword away. He's like, oh, no, get up. Don't do that.
Thank you.
She kind of steps up. Would you like to provide an explanation?
Oh,
Mar's the champion.
okay. I've been I've been in contact with Meginda in my dreams for a while, and they have expressed to me that they are in danger, very, very close danger. And to be honest, the Kinkathood story about a bunch of people camping out here and a person called the Seafoam Empress made it sound really like you were maybe part of the problem. I'm sorry. But I know that I can wake him up. I just have to get through that.
The problem is Ahriman.
I know.
You mentioned him. Do you know how the bearer of that blade died?
Yes.
That was my brother.
Oh.
I pull out the other sword, the twin sword.
Mm-hmm.
I pull out both of them,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna set them in front of her on the table so she can look at them.
They call these blades the brother blades. It's a misnomer. My brother, his name was Timmelt, was in love with a man of the land named Pelennor. And when the war began, they pledged themselves in service to their gods, as many did at that time. I was too young to fight. Some of Azalor rose up, including my future master, many of the Sapphire Sanctum, to fight on behalf of Tsuvinar. And I watched my brother go on, and I don't know how he got the sword, but when he came back, he had it, and he had these powers and this blessing from the gods. He had a key to unlock a door to a temple. He left again for battles future and far unknown with a man named Ahriman, with a woman named Lenaria Mistweaver, her sister Persephone, and Pelennor. I never saw him again, but the sword was lost as far as we knew. But if you have it, then does that mean that he has chosen a new champion?
Yes.
That means that there's a need for one. And it is wrong of our people to sit under the waves. And I was right all along. She's just kind of looking at the blades before her.
I'm just gonna very slowly so she doesn't want this. But I take her hand and I say, when I first picked up these swords, I had visions about the wielders. They were very beautiful.
Did he die an honorable death?
The most honorable that anyone could.
May that be for me then, too. She kind of shakes her head, and then I would imagine anyone in Azalor would paint me as a villain. But I do not think that we can stay behind any longer here. From what I've heard, there are forces gathering near the Blight. Have you seen any reference of that in your travels?
Yes.
And that is where we will go to.
I asked Magus Arcana and the rest of the Kinkerthurge to help with the Blight. And from what was implied and what you've now told me, I doubt that any official forces will come, but he said he would be there.
If we can wake him up. He is one of the most powerful mages in existence. Single-handedly could turn the tides of a battle.
Well, I told Naginda about the dream, and I think if anyone can figure it out, it's hopefully an ancient dragon.
Well, whenever you are ready, I will guide you to the temple door.
I look at my friends.
I give you the nod, the solemn nod.
We are ready to follow you, Mama.
I believe that this is a good thing for the group to undertake.
Yeah.
You say that there might be danger following you. We will guard the entrance as best we can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But I will warn you that if it's him coming, there's very little that we could do to hold him back.
We understand.
She kind of nods and looks out across the room to where Soris is standing.
I drop it.
She says,
No.
then she looks up at an orb on the ceiling, and she says, I trusted you when you walked in the room, so I did not question, but a rat wearing Sahagin clothing is quite interesting.
Yeah, sorry, we've been through kind of hard time in
It's-
Azalor, so
we have trust issues. I think you can tell.
Oh my goodness, who's that?
Yeah. But she kind of walks out of this space and says, I apologize, we will have to go back underwater for the transition to the temple. The temple has been sealed for as long as I have been guarding it. There is a doorway that we cannot open. But I assume that the blade that you carry may be the key.
I mean, I sure hope it is, because I don't know what else it would be.
All right. So she kind of guides you all back out to the antechamber, releases the spell, and the space around you floods with water. And then the door opens, she swims out, and then deeper down in through the city, like kind of weaving back and forth between buildings. And as you're going, you can see like random, it's not a huge population, but people kind of looking out from homes or the top of buildings or swimming loosely around, kind of taking note of this odd parade of individuals making their way through this small kingdom under the sea. And then eventually you break through the last buildings and you are out over a chasm of beneath you that goes looking down, descends as far into darkness as you can possibly imagine below you. On either side, the jagged structure of the rock walls rising up, and then couched between these two spaces, a massive temple, kind of diamond-shaped in structure, tiered in its design, a large central dome at the top that seems to be made some kind of crystal, and glowing with light and just kind of pulsing every now and then, as if the stones themselves are alive with energy and magic. She swims out down deeper and lands at the base of the temple. And there is a massive circular doorway. No clear key, lock, or hold. No clear space where this might split apart into doors. And she kind of looks at it and she says, "It was sealed about when Naginda went to sleep. Hopefully you can figure this out, I suppose." Right. She kind of swims back for a moment, but she's wanting to watch the gateway be opened. But Marlo, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Okay. That is a 15.
15. So as you kind of set foot down, your feet resting finally on the floor of this outer edge of the temple, you all watch as Marlo just kind of like goes up in space and her eyes turn bluish white with light. And you just hear a voice come through your head, Marlo, and it just says, "I have arrived." The key. Use the sword's power to prove your worth at the door. It should open for you. But once open, I cannot close it back.
I'm gonna go use the sword.
Okay. So he releases you. You kind of settle back down. How are you going to use the sword on the door?
I mean, so...
Can anybody give her inspiration or anything?
I got
she's
Gifts of
got it.
Alacrity. Which I don't
Gifts of
remember what that
That's
does
for
me.
initiative.
That's initiative.
Right.
But if you want to do a bardic, you can.
I look to Mara see if she wants it. But other than that, I'm letting her rock out.
So... If I approach it with the sword, does anything happen?
So as you take the sword out and walk up to the door, you see like runes like appear around the outside of the door. And then there's another ring of runes that appear at the center of the door. And then lines begin to connect and join between all of them until you see this sigil on the outside of the door. Just from getting close to it.
Okay. If I get like right up next to it and like place the sword, like tap it like on the door, does anything happen?
So as you tap it, you see that the sigils at the center like begin to rotate, and then a spectral like lock appears at the center of the door.
And my sword turns into a keyblade, and I put it on and I unlock the lock.
So you tapping it against it, it's not having an effect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to like swing it?
What? So based on what he said, he like using the power of the sword.
The power of the sword. Right, the sword's special powers that I remember to use all the time. Of course, the special power, the powers of the sword that I know about. Yes, the powers, the sword's powers.
Cusco's poison.
Yeah. Oh yeah, power of the sword.
Where the fuck is the sword? There you are. Oh my god, the sword has so many powers. Excuse me. Oh god, unit plus one, blah blah blah. Is it? Do I use one of the spells on it? I asked the DM like he's gonna give me an answer. I guess I'll
make a intelligence check.
An intelligence check.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 20.
Without, I mean, like, you don't have a lot of like arcane knowledge. You've studied a little bit of arcane. You can't read any of these runes, but the lines that are joining them together look like a net.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that was my goal. I was like, cast water net.
Okay.
With the sword.
All right. So you swing at the sword and use the water net ability, and you all watch as like the water like slices as Mar cuts through it. Like there's no drag at all. It's like cutting through. It's almost like if you've ever seen the cavitation bubble of mantis shrimp, like you have this like cavitation bubble, and then the moment you release, that bubble of energy like flies forward and hits the door and follows those lines and draws out the net, and then you just see like it pulse, and then the whole door rotates to the side and into a pocket, and the entrance to the water temple is there open before you.
Vault 76. No, sorry.
Vault 76. God, thanks for letting me out, guys. Is the atomic weapon bomb over now? And she kind of, Seraphina kind of swims back. Huh. Be safe.
You as well.
We are not the only guardians of this temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have to tell you necessarily, but I want to imply to her that that one scientist person, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, the one that was being evilly in Azalor.
Maester Athenor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like, I think Maester Athenor has no small part in the things that are going wrong in Azalor. So we may need help when awakening or figuring out what we're going to do about that. To keep an eye out for that situation too.
Well, we will do our part when the time comes.
Thank you.
Look, as long as we've got the light arrows and the bomb plants and
Oh my god.
the water temple shouldn't be an issue.
No, not the water temple.
No, you have to have the like steel boots.
Yeah, the steel boots.
The
yes.
steel boots.
Steel boots.
All right. Yep.
All right.
Jet fuel can't melt steel boots.
Okay. So are
That
you
was
all?
a joke for Atwood. No one else. I knew that would get Atwood really hard.
All right. So you guys going in?
Yep.
All right. So,
Damn it.
the moment the door opens, it's like 200 years worth of water that has been stale and stagnant within this building. Not dirty or not purified because it is within this like god chamber, comes rushing out. And there's a brief moment where each of you feels like yourself like pushed like 10 feet back in the water as like the cold benthic water around you, it begins to merge with like a lukewarm to warm, clean, pure bath of water from inside the temple. But then eventually that interchange or exchange of water fades and you kind of settle back down and you're able to swim forward into the temple. And we'll go ahead and take a 10-minute break there.
Benthic. Wow. SAT words for the win this week.
I will tell you that like the amount of research I did on the like the layers of water.
I love that.
Thank you, Ten. And that's a word that I did not know. So thank you.
I love
Thank you,
learning
Ted.
things from
Yes.
Josh. And I'm like, wow, it's like I'm in 8th grade.
All right, but we'll be back in 10 for the entrance to there. Yeah. So welcome back. So as you swim through the entrance, there is this push of water that you're swimming against, but then you all kind of break through and you realize that that water being forced out was because the temple itself was like creating this bubble that was pushing all the water out, and you break through that barrier and your feet hit like a white marbled floor, and you find yourself first in a room with a deafening sound beneath you, and there's a large platform in front of you that kind of angles out, and then there's just beyond that, a swirling maelstrom of water at the bottom. And then far across the room, you can see there is another platform that goes up to another door further away. And above you, there is a kind of a glass chamber, and you can see the moon, the main moon, Selenal, here, and it's moving across the room. And as it moves or through the room, it's going through all of the stages from full to crescent to waning to new, and then back through as it slowly rotates around the room. But I'm going to send you an image of this space. In the center of the room, kind of floating above the maelstrom, you see these platforms, and the platforms are kind of slowly rotating and moving around the space. And you can kind of tell that some of the platforms kind of pass by each other, and they move, so you could use the platforms potentially to get to the other side of the room. If you want to make perception checks, you may.
How far away is that other part of the room?
Probably like 100 feet.
And how are these? They're all rotating?
Yeah, all of these platforms are kind of floating in the air above the maelstrom, and they're kind of like moving and floating at different heights. So there's some that are taller and higher than others. Yeah.
So we can't see the symbols on some of these.
No, but like if you make like everyone go ahead and make perception checks.
Yeah. I got a 10, so I don't pass.
No.
I think it's very pretty. This is a nice.
And there's like there's a mist
13.
rising.
I am overwhelmed.
There's like there's mist rising up from the maelstrom where it's deciding. Abel, what was yours?
7, bro.
7.
I got 20.
20. So Kaimana and Saurus, as a couple of the platforms are passing by, you do notice that each platform, it seems to be made of like dirt or land, but there's pools of water in each one, and there are no symbols on the platforms. But what you notice is that those pools of water are reflecting the moonlight from above, and each one is not reflecting like a mirror of what's above. Like you see one that's kind of moving by, and as it moves by, it's reflecting a piece of the moon that's like, that one is like the half moon, and then another one kind of floats by, and it's reflecting only the crescent, like the waning crescent moon. So you can see those pools of water are reflecting only they're corresponding with stages of the moon from above.
I am going to wait until the new moon passes close enough. And then I'm going to jump into that.
Okay. So you all kind of watch as Kaimana edges forward on the platform, and Kaimana, you see kind of approaching off in the distance, the one of the platforms has, there's 2 platforms approaching you. There's one that has no symbol on it at all. And then there's one that has just like the barest like outline of a moon on it. And they both are kind of approaching around the same time. Which one are you jumping on?
The barest outline.
Okay, cool. So you all watch as Kaimana leaps across. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check or an athletics check, Kaimana.
Oh, this.
Can I be on standby that if he misses, I activate the winged boots to kind of help?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
That's a 9.
Okay.
I would like to help.
Okay, so you see Kaimana go, and like there's just enough moisture from where this room had just recently drained Kaimana that as you go to leap, like your foot like slides out from behind you, and instead of leaping, you kind of just tumble forward. But Marlowe, you grab him and you fly across the space, and you both land on the new moon island, and it kind of stops for a moment. And then it continues its rotation, taking you further away from the platform that you were just on.
Just saying, if he was on the leash, it wouldn't be a problem.
What's about the
And yeah, the next one I'm going to wait to get close to is the waxing crescent.
Okay, the waxing crescent. So as you're on this one, it begins to kind of rise up as it's going, and then you see there's an island that's higher up in the air, and it's lowering down. And around the time it begins to pass you, you notice that it's the waxing crescent island, and it's kind of descending down. If you want to go ahead and make that jump, go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check. Or if Mar just wants to fly you over.
I'm gonna fly us.
Okay, cool. So you fly over and land on that
might
one.
as well.
Yeah.
But I'll do it's like we're jump like how you take a toddler and you're like,
Yay! Okay.
So we're
Good.
like going together, and I'm making him feel like, he's got agency.
All right.
Look, Bar, I'm doing it.
Okay. So,
yeah, bud. Yeah, you are.
so you land on that one, and there's no change or adjustment. It begins to swing away. So if you just want to walk through the stages, because you and Marlo are using that tool, what are the stages of the jumps that you're going through?
So I'm looking at the picture.
Okay, yeah.
It's granted it's not everything. So, but I'm assuming it's new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, the full moon, third quarter, waning crescent. I don't see waxing gibbous or waning gibbous on here.
Yeah, I didn't go all 8
Okay.
stages. I just did the 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you get back to the waning crescent is the last one you land on, and then from there jumping across to the marble platform. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you all watch as Marlo and Kaimana are moving slowly away from you on these islands, and eventually you land on the other platform. And now closer to the platform, you can see that on the door on this platform, there are the symbols of the stages of the moon, and they have been lighting up as you've been hitting the right platforms. And the last one lights up and the door opens and then vanishes into a wall of water. And then the wall of water separates.
Nice. Nice work.
All right, can I jump across, but in an order behind them so that I can try to open a different door?
There's only one door in this that exits this space.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
If you
just copy what we did.
Okay, and you don't need to roll anything, Saurus, because you're a monk.
I'm gonna use my little fly spell. To
Okay.
make sure I don't fucking fall and
Now,
die.
Jury, are you just going to fly across, or are you going to hit each platform as you
No,
go?
I'll hit the things. I know a magic-y, I don't want to fall into that abyss below me trap when I see one. I'm good.
Abel?
I'm going to follow suit behind Judy, activate my jetpack,
Okay.
and leap from the different islands.
All right. So, note to DMs out there:
Although
don't make a
fly-
jumping challenge.
Fly is my bard spell.
Oh,
so
that's
I
true.
think I
Oh,
have to
and we
roll
also
both
didn't.
things.
You have to roll your D10 for the day to
Oh,
see
D10
what
for the
your
day?
to see what your thing is.
How about a 2? What does a 2 do for me?
Okay, let me pull
Something
this
worth
up.
Wow,
A
you can't
2.
fly at all today.
Let's see. All right, so you feel like you are less chaotic than usual.
Okay, great news.
So, what level spells fly? That's level 1.
When?
Okay,
a
so
little small.
that is
Fly's a level 1?
It might be
No, level maybe level 2.
No, it's a third level spell.
Level 3rd. Okay, 3rd level
Am I
spell.
crazy?
So that
Crazy?
is okay.
Oh.
So do you have
I
to
cast it with the mandolin, so
Yep.
I don't remember.
You do not have to roll, so you're okay.
Beautiful. Everything is going my way today. This is my day.
All right. So you all make your way across. You land on the marble platform on the other side, and then you make your way through this kind of curtain of water and find yourself in another chamber. And like the moment you pass beyond the curtain of water, it kind of closes behind you, and that maelstrom sound that was deafening in the other room completely vanishes, and you find yourself in a beautiful chamber of terraced steps and paths. There are multitudinous waterfalls falling into this chamber from various different heights and locations. Weirdly, some of them are going up. Some of them are going down. Some of them are going sideways. But in this space, go ahead and make a perception check, everybody.
Mm.
21.
10.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
That'll be in that one.
Oh no.
That happens sometimes.
Open your
12.
eyes.
Okay,
Joy.
so Saurus definitely, and Marlo, as you're looking around the room, various different terraces and heights. This room probably goes up 70 feet or so, and then as you get out on into this chamber a little bit, it also dips down about 30 or 40 feet. There's a pool of water beneath you, still not like torrent, going down a drain or anything, and. These waterfalls are falling in different directions and locations. What you also do notice is that there are golden hourglasses around the space. Some of them like embedded into the walls. There's a large central hourglass at the center of the chamber, but you can see there are 5 hourglasses in this space. Some probably no more than a couple feet tall. The large central one is about 6 feet tall. As you get close to them, what you notice is that some of the hourglasses, the sand that's coming through the hourglass is going down, and then some of the hourglasses, the sand is going up.
And are they coinciding with the waterfall that's closest to them?
So some of the waterfalls seem to be going sideways, and so it's hard to tell with those. But 2 of the waterfalls there's one major waterfall that's going down, and the largest waterfall. And if you coincide it with the largest hourglass, the sand is traveling down in that hourglass. There's a smaller waterfall that's going up, and the hourglass next to it, the sand is going up.
Okay, is there a platform on the other side that we're trying to get to?
With your perception check, you cannot see any exits out of this room other than the one you just came through.
Can I take like the hourglass closest to us?
That would be
And,
the
like-
small one with the upside down waterfall.
Yeah, can I flip that to see if that changes
Okay.
the direction
So
of that waterfall?
as you are turning the hourglass, you would get to the middle point, and all of you watch as the waterfall is falling upwards. And as Marlo turns it, the waterfall seems to freeze in the air. And then as you turn it completely around the other way, the waterfall reverses and starts falling down.
Cool.
What you do see is that like there's a brief moment where it like catches and then falls, and you're looking through, and there's like a platform on the other side. And it does look like there's like bookshelves or something like on that platform, like the books, like briefly you saw that. But there wasn't a doorway through that waterfall.
Okay.
Should the water down below start filling up more when the waterfall flipped?
Yeah, when this waterfall is now pouring into the pool at the bottom, it's beginning to rise up a little bit. And you now kind of looking up, you see that there's also a pool of water at the top, and now it's rising instead of lowering. So you've upset the equilibrium of the room.
Okay.
Should we check the other?
Yeah, are the other hourglasses close enough to us, or are they further away?
So that hourglass is right next to you. To get to the next closest one would require a climb. The next one is like on a platform, like a rocky platform up above that goes with one of the waterfalls that's shooting across the room.
Can I fly up there and try it?
Yep. Okay. So you get up there, and this is when you kind of, now you're out of this like little like lower space, and you get up to the top, and you realize that like the whole room has pools of water surrounding it on all sides, and these waterfalls are pouring into ones on the side. And when you turn this one, it does the same thing. But at the middle point, when you stop it, you see that there's like this weird space in the middle of this waterfall that when you're looking through it, make a perception check.
It's so bad. 9.
9. Just briefly, like it was really weird because you were looking at like the middle of the waterfall. You caught like something weird about it. But then when you reverse the flow, that weird element faded away. But now the water on the right-hand side of the room is beginning to expand outward. So you guys have a rising lower and a rising left side, a rising low side and a rising right side.
Can I redo it and see if I can notice what was going on in the middle?
You can, the best way, rather than, because you could just keep doing that back and forth, if you
Right.
ask Saurus or somebody to come up and join you.
Okay, then I will do that.
I'll climb on up there.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
So Saurus, as Marlowe flips the flow of water again, make a perception check for me.
I have rolled 3 10s in a row for perception checks, so that's another 21.
21. So as Marlowe flips it and it gets to that middle point where the waterfall kind of freezes for a moment, looking through this waterfall from this angle, you can see that big waterfall on the other side. And like, it's almost like when you, I don't know how to describe this in a way, that looking through this waterfall is allowing you to kind of look through the big waterfall. And you can see a doorway on the other side of the big waterfall.
Is there a way to stop it at the point where we can see?
Yeah, if you stop the hourglass in the middle, it'll freeze the waterfall.
Let's do that.
Okay, cool. Now down back at the bottom, Abel, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please. Eating a chip. Ronnie, make a perception check.
I was crunching too loud. I couldn't hear.
Salt and vinegar chips, man.
Failed his IRL perception check.
An 8.
Oh no, that's bad.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
God.
So that's all right. But yeah, so Saurus,
Not flash of genius.
you can flash a genius if you want.
Okay.
So that takes it to
So
a
14.
14. Okay. When Marlowe freezes the waterfall at the top, the waterfall that you flipped below, you can now weirdly, are looking at it and you can see through it, and it's crossing the path of that one that Marlowe had. And with this one moving and that one frozen, the doorway is like 40% transparent now.
So I let everyone.
so
I can see
with-
most of the doorway
Yeah.
with the hourglass in this position.
Yeah. So the hourglass in this position and the hourglass in that position on that one have unlocked about 40% of the door frame. So there's
So which
two.
hourglass corresponds with the other?
There's 3 more hourglasses. The big one in the center, and then there's 2 more further out into the room.
Can I go to one of the ones further out? Can I fly out to it and get Source to jump over to the other one, if he will?
Yeah.
I will flying carpet over there.
Yes!
So it takes out the flying carpet. Okay, cool. So you get to this one. Marlowe is like flying diagonally from the upper portion of the room down to the lower portion. And Saurus, the one that you're on, is another one that's flowing upside down from the bottom to the top. So the person who would be able to see all 4 in order would be either Abel, Jury, or Kamana back at the start of the room.
Sure, I can call out to them what the order
Yeah.
is. if
Okay,
they-
cool. So
Okay.
So Marlowe, go ahead and you're turning yours. Jury, make a
Mhm.
perception check as Marlowe turns.
I only got a 10. Wow, the checks are doing so good. For
Okay.
us.
So there's a moment where there's clarity, but it's not clear enough for you to like call for a stop. If Kaimana wants to aid you, you can roll with it.
Kaimana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, go ahead, Kaimana.
Is Kaimana rolling? Please don't make me
I thought it was going to help. But
You can help, so you can roll with advantage, Jury.
What's the skill, Jury?
Perception.
Perception.
Okay, yeah.
But-
Why don't you help me?
I was about to say I should have helped you. I'll help you.
All right. So with
I can't see
advantage.
shit. I'm like, come on, you gotta look at this water shit instead. I got.
We
something in
gotta
my
get
eye.
you glasses.
A contact. My contact is slipped in this.
Well, if
fucking
anyone's
place.
going to look through water, the otter is the one
Yeah.
that makes the most
No.
sense.
My
It's
fucking
24, Josh.
eyes.
Okay, so as Marlowe's turning it, about 3/4 of the way through the turn, like not all the way back the other way, you see there's like a moment where the image becomes more clear. Marlowe keeps turning it, it goes unclear again, but you can then adjust Marlowe's turn back to the 3/4 mark.
Yeah, I do the ophthalmologist. Better, worse, better, worse.
You should drive the ship like this. This seems
I
like
would
a
be the
great
one
move.
asking better or worse.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Kaimana's just better, worse, better, worse.
What do you mean?
All right.
I'll do mine.
Okay, and then go ahead and make another perception check. Come on.
Okay. With advantage?
If Jury's still helping you.
I'm
Yeah.
helping you now. Don't worry. I'm like, okay, I can't see shit apparently.
29. I don't need to
29.
roll again.
Okay.
It doesn't get better than that.
So same thing following through when Saurus gets his all the way turned around to the other side, it clears. And now from your perspective, Kaimana, it's like all of these waterfalls crossing a path across each other have now created a perfectly clear cutout from your perspective of the doorway beyond. And there's a platform beyond that. Now, as you were all doing that, there were other chambers and things that were being revealed at different levels of this, but what you noticed were just books and things like that. It didn't seem to be like, it's not like a treasure chest behind the waterfall. But if you wanted to explore books or things, those are there. But once they are all locked into position, you all watch as the large central hourglass lifts up into the air and then turns over. And the waterfall at the back begins to lift, and it actually like reverses all the way up to the ceiling. However, as it's doing that, it's clearing the path to the doorway. As it's doing that, though, this massive water is going into the ceiling water pool, which is rapidly descending down to meet you.
I'll whip the magic carpet over so that everyone can jump on and haul ass over to the doorway.
Good. So with that, you don't have there's not any saves or throws on that.
I'm gonna mage hand one of the books to me though, so I can see what the fuck these books are.
Okay, good. So you grab a book as you pass by.
Yeah, just to go, come with me.
And then you all arrive on the other side. Marlo, do you just fly over on your wing boots? Cool.
I don't.
All right, cool. So you get over to the other side, and you guys get over there just in time to watch that wall of water from the top begin to pour down, and it seems as if the entire chamber beyond you is flooded with this rushing gout of water. The book in your hand is Understanding the Phases of the Moon in terms of boosting spell work.
Ooh, all right.
Good book to have.
Yeah.
You got that. All right. So you make your way into the next chamber. And then let me hold on a second. Yeah. So the next chamber, you see a large central pool of water that is so still that it is glass. And above you, there is the moon is back here and it's slowly moving and rotating around the room. And you can just kind of see it perfectly reflected in the water surface below.
That's everything that's in this room?
Yep. I mean, it's a huge circular room, glass ceiling. And then this kind of maybe 2-foot raised pool of water that's just as clean as a mirror surface at the top.
So we can walk around that, or is that filling the entire space?
Nope, you can walk around it. It's probably about 20 feet across in diameter.
Perception check the room.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check, Sword.
Oh, that's 14.
So I
rolled a 3.
So what you notice as you're kind of doing this is that at certain points, you kind of get up close to the mirrored surface, and at certain points, you don't notice anything like earth-shattering, but there's just moments where you're looking at the mirror's reflection, and it's almost like there's like a jagged line that it cuts through as it's moving along that surface of the water. And it happens multiple times as as its reflection from up above, it's kind of moving almost like it's like whenever a reflection crosses like a different plane or a different surface.
I point this out to the group.
Hmm.
Can I get closer to it?
Yeah, sure. You can make a perception check if you want.
Yeah. Does it feel weird to me?
Make a perception check and we'll see.
Okay.
With your moon knowledge.
Specifically what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That is a 22.
22. So what you notice that kind of slipped Saurus's gaze, and it might be because Saurus doesn't have proper depth perception, because he only has one eye, is that not only is the surface of the water mirror-like because there's no ripple or movement, but there are literally mirrors floating underneath the surface of the water.
Oh. How can I tell how far?
They're maybe
there?
like an inch, floating just about an inch. It's impossible to tell how deep the water is because the surface is so mirrored
reflective.
that you can't see through it. But it seems to be maybe 8 mirrors that are floating underneath the surface of the water.
Can I reach in and like move one?
Yeah, sure. So you reach one and you touch it. It free floats, so you can move it anywhere within this within the pool.
Oh.
Okay. And what does moving it like do to the image?
Okay, so do you just kind of like push it out into the pool?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like move it around to see like.
I'll
what-
point out where I saw the little line thing happen.
I do that.
Okay, cool. So you kind of move it, and as you're moving it, you're just kind of pulling it around with you. There's a moment where the moon's reflection comes across, and the whole time, the moon in the sky is a full moon. It never adjusts. And where the reflection was here, it was just reflecting a full moon. But as you pull it across to a certain location, it's like the corner of the moon, like you've moved this mirror enough that like the corner brushes against it. And as the moon passes in front of this mirror, it's a quarter moon.
Cool.
Like a waxing or waning gibbous. You push it out further. So now the next time the moon makes its pass, the whole moon is within the mirror. And as the light of that waning gibbous hits this mirror, you see the light pass through the mirror, and just for a brief moment, you catch a glimpse of a chamber beneath the pool of water.
Beneath. Okay. Cool. I will point this out to Source and the rest of the room.
All right. So in order to do this, you will, because the mirrors are free floating. So as you're moving them, there's a risk of bumping multiple mirrors together. So what this will be is a skill check for all of the group to kind of adjust the mirrors. You can use it would be dexterity checks normally, unless you can think of a skill that you could apply differently, like potentially mage hand or something like that.
About my mage hand.
But so everybody kind of think like, how are you going to manipulate mirrors to arrange them so you get the picture that you need?
Yeah, I'll use my mage hand to make sure mine is like steady and doesn't bump against anything.
And with that, you could move two. You could move one mirror by hand and one with your mage hand. Okay,
Sweet.
cool.
I will do that.
Jury, make a charisma check for me, please, because you're using your charisma modifier, your spells. Abel, how are you going to move mirrors? You're muted.
I'm gonna have Anansi help me to sort of stabilize.
Okay, so that's 2. You can do 2 mirrors that way. So go ahead and make an intelligence check. So making sure you're able to command Anansi appropriately. So that's 2, 4. So there's 3 mirrors remaining. So Saurus and Kaimana can tackle 1 each, or you can try to maneuver 2 mirrors with each of your hands, Saurus and Kaimana, unless you have a different way of maneuvering the mirrors.
I sense mine going sideways, so I'm using my Tides of Chaos to reroll.
Okay.
Oh my god.
How big are the mirrors, Josh?
So they are about like 3 feet across, maybe 2 feet across.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try to do both. And I'm trying to do 2 at once.
Okay, go ahead and make a dexterity check for me, Kaimana. And then Saurus, are you just moving one?
Before I do that, though, I'm going to shape change into an octopus.
Okay, so you can do a dexterity check with advantage because you have multiple hands to work with. And then
I'm going to use my acrobatics so that when I lean out to hold it in place, I am perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced. Okay, go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me. And then Marlo, you've already got yours in place, so you're good. So Abel, what was your intelligence check?
So my first one I rolled was an 8, but I'm gonna use my flash of genius. So I'm like pull down my little goggles that have like scanning technology. So I can better position these, has like laser accurate scanning.
It's
so I can
like
better
one of those laser levels.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was imagining Anansi with like the little airplane flags being like,
yeah, so we'll do that. And it goes from an 8 to a 14.
Okay.
And then my second one, I rolled a 14. And I'm going to flash of genius again to make it a 20.
Okay. All right. Jury, what was your charisma check?
Tides of Chaos rerolled, so I got a 23 on the reroll.
Okay, 23. And then Kamana, your dexterity check.
That was an 11.
An 11. Okay, cool. So as you're all arranging it, you're getting them in positions, and it's difficult because you have to wait for the moon to come through to see like which space you're working with, and then you guys have to like rearrange to match the structure of the moon. But eventually, you all get into position so that now, as the moon is moving around the space, it is moving through the phases on the circle or on the water. And you all watch that as it's doing that, the light is lighting up, and the mirrored surface almost seems to vanish as the room beneath is lit up enough that it's shining through. And the mirrors seem to like lock in place. So now there's a central hole between the mirrors that you could jump through if you wanted to.
yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. So you all jump through. However, 2 of the mirrors were not properly aligned. And so as you jump through, instead of jumping through space, you do feel yourself passing through water. It doesn't stop you or anything. You jump through, you land on the space below you, and you're like in a hallway that seems to be moving on to another room. But as Jury and Abel pass through and you're dropping down below, you feel that water kind of like following you a little bit. And as both of you, that's a 27 to hit Abel, and that's an 18 to hit Jury. And it gets advantage. Hold on.
I rolled a 31 on my dexterity, by the way.
Oh, you're awesome. And then so that is Jury. That's 16 points of bludgeoning damage, Jury. And 13 points of bludgeoning damage to you, Abel. As everyone else like looking up as Jury and Abel are passing through, you see these 2 entities kind of descending from the ceiling, and they lash out at Jury and Abel. Both of you kind of fall to the floor and pick yourself back up as these entities like are hanging from the ceiling. Go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Oh my.
Well, we tried.
Fuck you, ceiling guy.
As water weirds appear from the ceiling.
Water weirds.
Oh, maybe I rolled the worst.
9.
I doubt it.
Okay. Anybody 20 to 25?
And Jace, you had a plus D10. Or D8.
D8, yeah.
Lackery. Yeah, get D8 for your mission.
It could have been 5 water weirds, but it's just
I
2.
got a 22.
22. So Mar. Okay. Anybody 19 to 15?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Anybody 14 to 10?
14.
Okay. Source.
11.
Jury. Kamana, what do you get?
I got 6.
And Abel. Ronnie?
A 9. Sorry.
So Abel.
You'll have to roll better for my AC.
All right.
No, you have to roll worse. Stop blaming it on others.
All right. So Mar, you see these 2 figures kind of like they lash out at Jury and Abel, and then they're just kind of like moving along the mirrored surface of the ceiling. What do you want to do?
I'm going to pull my swords out, and I'm going to activate my Crimson Right, on them. But this is the first time that my Crimson Rite looks very different.
So as you activate, you want to describe the way that it changes the appearance of Wave Dancer.
Yeah, so I pull out the Wave Dancer first, and you guys are used to seeing the Wave Dancer like shoot water and then Mar do, the blood magic and for the lightning to appear. But instead, this time, it's like the Wave Dancer appears, and as the water arcs out, it begins to freeze from the sword and comes out to be ice.
Oh, I love it.
It's the jagged, icy surface of Wave Dancer.
I saw a guy do this in a toothpaste.
And then on the tiller with its vines, it's like the frostbite coming off of the vines.
Awesome.
So cool.
All right. So you can go ahead and make your attacks against your 2 attacks against the water weirds.
The first attack is going to be
You're looking for a 14 on these.
Yeah, definitely a 14. And do I get advantage because they're engaged with my friends?
So not advantage because they're not flanked, but one of your friends is within 5 feet of it, so you would get sneak attack.
I can get sneak attack.
Yep.
Is what I was going for the whole time.
Yep.
And the other one, definitely hits. Okay, so first attack is a plus. I need to check something real quick because I don't know if this changed or not. It did. Okay, so that changes, and that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 30 on the first attack.
Okay.
And then 13 on the second attack.
13, nice, 43 points. So as the water kind of hits, where the Wave Dancer hits them, they just kind of briefly shock freeze, and then the tiller smashes into them, cracking up the ice, which then re-melts and then joins into their body as you're cutting across them.
Cool.
All right, which then takes us to the water weirds. So they kind of, the one that's on Marlowe kind of lashes back a little bit, but it's going to make 2 attacks against you, Marlowe. The first one is a 23 to hit. The second one's going to miss. Yeah. And then make a strength saving throw for me, please.
Okay. I wish that was cocked. I papped it hoping it was. It wasn't. That's a 2.
Okay, so you take 18 points of bludgeoning damage as it smacks you, but then the whip of water kind of wraps around you and pulls you up, and you all watch as Marlowe gets absorbed into the water weird. You can still breathe, which would be the worst part of this, but you can feel the.
I don't think it's the worst part. The situation is bad enough.
You feel the interior structure of the creature bludgeoning against you. You get the sense that if you don't get out of here, that each round you might take damage from the interior washing machine structure of the water weird. The other one is going to kind of go down and go back at Abel. So 2 attacks against you, Abel. The first one is a 22. And the second one is an 18.
I'm going to shield.
Okay. So you the water whip slashes out and hits the arcane shield that you throw up, and neither attack hits.
But don't I have, if they try to attack me and they miss, where's my feature for that? I get to do something to them?
It's your shield. They have to make a Constitution throw, I think.
Yeah, sure.
That is a 15.
That is a fail.
Okay.
And then where's the damage? I'm so sorry. Hold on. Shield of Retribution.
As Abel's looking that up, Saurus.
They are thrown back 15 feet.
Okay, so you watch it like
And
thrown back
3d6
into the
force
water,
damage.
but then it falls back down into the water and just kind of like recorporates and then pops back out again. But then how much damage does it take?
It takes 3d6.
Okay, go ahead.
9 force damage.
Cool, awesome. Saurus.
I'm going to do something creative.
Okay.
I am going to use the Belt of the Four Winds, and one of the things I can do is create a Dust Devil. Only in this case, I'm going to create a water spout.
Okay.
And basically try and suck this thing into it, and it make a strength saving throw.
Okay, so that is a 12.
It fails.
And how big is the Dust Devil?
It's like 5 feet.
Okay, so you get one of them. So that one failed. So
Yeah,
it's going to take damage. Also,
It takes 1 die.
we'll say that because you're creating this vortex, it actually gets sucked off the ceiling and slammed to the ground. So add an additional die of damage to this.
Okay, so normally it's 1 die 8. This will be 2 die 8. Ooh, 7 and an 8. So that is 15.
15 points damage. Okay, cool. And so now
And
this
it gets
one
knocked 10 feet away.
Okay, so it gets slammed to the ground and then thrown back into the air, and you just kind of watch it disappear above the water, and then it kind of will eventually fall back down into the water space. Cool. Anything else you want to do on your turn, Saurus?
Nope.
All right, cool. That takes us to Jury.
All right, so the one that Mar is, I don't think I can spell attack that one, right? Otherwise, it'll hit Mar as well, probably.
No, you can probably. Mars like
Okay.
dancing in and out. You can definitely get to that one. Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna try to Ray of Frost that one if it's close enough.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Let's go, Sorcerer Spells. 24.
24. Okay.
I can see.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
10 damage.
10 damage. Okay.
And its speed reduced by 10.
And actually, what you notice is that when the Ray of Frost hits, not only does it hit the water weird, but it hits the water pool that it's in, which flash freezes, and that entire like disc of water falls out of the ceiling, hits the ground, and shatters. And the water weird is no more.
Yay! And Mars
And Mars
sitting.
freeze.
That was so fucking gross. What the fuck
Mars
is
freeze.
wrong with this temple?
It's your god.
What just happened to me was a little unholy, okay? And I don't like that.
I will give you that. I will absolutely give you. Meanwhile, this other water weird's like scrambling
Yeah,
around.
It finally hits the mirrored surface and like bloops back down, and it's like bobbing at the surface of the thing again. Good. Abel, what do you want to do?
Okay, so Abel has to attack. So I'm going to pull out my arcane firearm, which has been upgraded a bit, inspired by Saurus's handgun. Now it's looks a lot more like a stylized rifle with like intricate carvings in the stock, and the Everspark is affixed to the top, kind of like a scope.
Ooh.
And my
Nice.
Force Ballista is like underneath, attached to the stock, like the Force stock, almost like a little.
It's just an
Rocket
elephant, like.
So I'm going to use just an action. I'm going to fire off a glitter fire at the other enemy.
Okay.
A glitter
The
fire.
glitter fire. Yeah, we
fire.
made it together.
You guys made this
So-
spell.
Judy, I'm going to turn to Judy. Like, hopefully this spell works. This is
Okay.
the spell that
Maybe-
Judy and I.
That is a
work together.
failure on its dexterity saving throw. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Nice.
So it's
Okay,
7d6.
everywhere.
It's
Is it 7?
7d6 instead of 8d6.
Stop. Sorry, this roly thing is not.
You're good. Yeah, we crafted a spell together as bros.
It's pretty cool. Oh, wait, stop. Go back.
We put aside our differences for one day to make magic together. Only two magic people, and we finally got it together.
I just picture this as a glitter bomb, like on the Porch Pirates.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that the guy does with the Porch Pirates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys, hold on.
Take it.
I'm ready. It's listed as 66 for me, so I'll just...
Oh, is it? Okay, 66 then, yeah. I can't remember what I gave you on damage.
That is 20 damage.
Okay. You get the sense that because this is a creature made of water, that the fire doesn't do as much damage as you want it to do. However, as the explosion goes off, it's almost like stardust, like on the mirrored surface. And you can see that those stars are aligning into the form of the water weird. And it is now glittering and glowing with light. Every attack against it now has advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So now we can hopefully hit it harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really have anything for bonus action because I didn't have my ballista out. So
okay.
Yep, I'll just step away and let the rest of the team handle this.
All right, Kaimana, that's to you.
I am going to try to hit it with my octopus arms.
All right, go ahead and make your attacks with your octopus arms.
You became an octopus
Great.
and then you failed that check, which is hysterical to me.
Yeah, no, it's great.
He hasn't worked with that many arms before.
He's like, oh.
I'm like, oh, this is way too many. So,
Mhm.
Josh, quick question.
Yes.
I can only use ink cloud in the water.
Yeah.
Now, these creatures are like water based.
Yeah.
Could I just like ink one of them and they're like blind?
You can, sure. You can certainly try.
All right. Yeah, I would like to try to do that.
Is it an attack roll?
No, it is just like an area effect.
Okay, so go ahead and make because you have to kind of like jump up to it a little bit. Go ahead and make just an acrobatics check or an athletics check.
Okay, so my... Alright, it's not going to be too much, but let's see. $16.
Okay, yeah. So you all watch as like the Kaimana octopus like hunkers down and then uses its legs to like throw himself like up into the water weird, and just you fly into the water weird and you're floating around inside of it, and then you just release like a cloud of ink, and it. You all see like now instead of just like starry water, it is like a black night sky of water swirling around with those stars from the glitter fire going in, and the water weird will now be blinded.
It's pretty.
All right, which takes us back up to Marlo.
You just shit out of the water weird.
All right, go ahead and make your attacks. You're looking for a 14.
Now am I in
You have
I get
advantage on all the
advantage.
attacks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ha ha ha. Okay, the first one does hit because I hit a 3, but I still hit it. Let's go. And then that will hit, and then that is a nat 20, which is going to be such fucking overkill on this thing. Okay.
This poor water weird, it just gets glittered and inked. It's like, what the hell's happening to me? And then Mar just eviscerates it.
I'm just guarding a temple, guys.
I'm going to do what I love to do the most, which is not tell you the damage till I've added it up all together and make myself feel special. So give me a second here. There's we got that. And then you. Well, not great rolls, but 52.
52. Okay, so how does Marlo take out this last water weird?
Really aggressively, because she's really still not cool with what his fucking friend did. So I think just like because that one like fell
Yeah.
like a little further down.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like just on top of it.
Perfect.
Straight down.
So you like freeze it, and then the tiller comes in and just shatters it, and it separates into pieces, and then melts onto the floor and vanishes. All right. So looking around, like the ceiling kind of resolves itself back to its mirrored surface. And now you just have like this mirror that's reflecting the marbled floor below. So it just looks like you're in a hallway of marble. And this kind of goes deeper into the temple. As you walk deeper in, go ahead and make whoever's leading the pack make a perception check for me, please.
Certainly not me. I can't see.
Allosaurus.
Okay. I rolled a 4 and a 6. So that is a 17.
17. So, Soros, you do spot there's a couple pressure plates in this hallway that you spot that would have led to traps. You carefully avoid them and guide everyone past them. But then you come through and you are now in a massive kind of, you get the sense that this is the central chamber of the temple. From the outside, you had noticed a dome at the top of the temple, and about 150 feet above you, there is a dome here. And even though you are deep underwater, it gives the impression of moonlight coming through this central dome and hitting a kind of circular iris in the floor. And there's no other exits or entrances in this room, but the walls of this chamber are covered in paintings and murals that depict various different creatures. The one that is depicted mostly is a large, kind of looks like a Hydra-like beast that is kind of seems to be heavily influenced in this space. It is also at the central core where that moonlight is pouring down into the iris. You see the curled body of the iris, like in the Hydra, in a mosaic pattern on the floor, very similar to like the dragon symbol of house of the dragon house in Game of Thrones, and but you get the sense that is the space that you're in here, but this is just this massive chamber and that central iris that's bathed in moonlight.
Perception check the room.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check, Source.
Oh, much better. That's a natural 17 plus 11, so that's a 28.
Okay. So with a 28, you realize that like the whole floor is marble, and like there's steps that descend down to the center, and at the center there is a layer of water, but it's only like a few inches deep, but around that central iris you can now see that there are like holes that are descending deeper into the chamber around this iris, and there's a light like bubbling that's coming up from them that's lightly breaking the surface of this couple inches of water, but at the center of this chamber you do see a pedestal on the iris. It's only 6 or 7 inches tall, but there is a hole at the center of it that does appear to be sword shaped.
I point this out to Marlo.
I go over, I put my sword in it.
Okay, so like Link at the Temple of Time.
Yes.
you take out Wavebreaker, the water splashes across this light chamber, and you can all hear like the plinking sound of water echoing through the chamber. And as you lower the sword into it, you feel like a rumble for a moment. And then the sword releases and you pull out, and the iris begins to open. And as it opens, you're looking down into a deep well of water that goes deep down further into the temple. But rising out of it is the guardian of the temple.
Oh no.
The Hydra.
The Hydra.
And that's where we will pick up next week.
Oh, Hydra.
God, hell yeah. I didn't get to fight the last one.
This is more a
My
hydro
turn.
than a hydra.
And this Hydra this Hydra is covered in sigils of the moon. And as it moves, it kind of seems to be warping temporal time, and like its heads kind of like shift and move because it is the guardian of the Temple of Tsuvinar. So it possesses the powers of the moon, of time and water.
Ooh, cool.
Fine.
Yikes.
It's sick.
I love
But
this.
if I have the sword, can he just like be cool for a second?
Maybe.
Like, you boot him? Boot him on the seat?
Can he be tamed?
He's guarding this temple, and you might be a trespasser with the sword.
Can we just try running past him and leave him there so that when Ahriman shows up, he's got to fight a Hydra?
You'd have to swim away from him, but sure.
His swimsuit's probably stupid
Oh.
high.
So fast.
His swimsuit's probably ridiculous.
All right. But that's where we'll pick up next week.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Good night, y'all.
Night.
All right, guys.